few weeks, we have gone through so many of this series. And see, for me, it is not so much about what we have put down on our notes. It's the outcomes, the learning outcomes from what we have been taught. What have we actually been doing or done with the things that has been taught us? Because that is the critical thing. Leadership is action. It is not the intensity. I cannot tell you this is what you have to do or this is how you have to do it, but if you know the why, if you read and if you see from the video, we can pick a few things. Leadership is about service. Leadership is about sacrifice. Leadership is about consistency of action. Leadership is an action. Leadership is a position of trust. Leadership is a combination of different little things that in themselves, they might not really matter, but an aggregation of those things, an accumulation of those things make us a leader. Leadership is care for the others. Leadership is devotion. Leadership is love. Leadership is connection. Leadership is humanity. You make mistakes, you fall, you do things that you are not supposed to do at certain points in time. But leadership is a combination of it. It does not make us infallible. It only makes us human. Let us sincere care and devotion to other people. At the heart of the matter is the care. How much do you care about the people around you? How much do you care about the people around you? I also want to define what is care according to the dictionary. Care is about concern, is about thoughts, is about regard for others. Care is to attach importance, to give affection, to give attention unto others. Care is to give in a good state or condition. Care is to provide what is needed for the well-being and protection of other people. And if you look at all of these things, it looks as if they are not defining leadership, because the leader is supposed to be the tough guy that is moving everybody around, that is doing this and all of that. But leaders actually arise from the care and concern that they have for others. Till today, we talk about Jesus Christ. If you look at it, in a lot of times, he sacrificed of himself and even sacrificed himself at the end of the day. He gave concern to the needs of people. When his disciples wanted to send people away because there was no food, he said, how can we send these people away? In so many instances, it's written, he had compassion over the people. Education, teaching people to be better in whatever they are doing, to live their lives better, is a natural thing for leaders. I see the example of the CM. He, most of the time, is doing one training or the other, one training or the other, and all of that. It's a natural. If you need to be told to teach, to make other people better, then you need to ask yourself, am I really a leader? And leadership is just about, if you care for the person that is the left of you and the right of you, you have become a leader. You have become a leader. So I want today, like I said, because education has started, I'm supposed to talk about leaders educating. And even an incident happened today. There was a company that came to us. I know the owner of the company, the general manager of the company brought some of their staff to want to introduce them to me, and we're talking. And I found out at the end of the day, I was telling them about market segmentation, I was telling them about customer engagement and all of that. And at the end of the day, I asked myself, why am I doing this? They have come to pitch their products to us, to tell me to come and buy products from them. But right there and then, I was already telling them about certain things and all of that. I found out most of the time, we gather in a room now to talk about the business. I found out at the end of the day, I am doing coaching. I am doing training. Even sometimes when I was supposed to apply the stick, I am looking at it and I'm like, okay, maybe if we begin to tell ourselves how to do these things, like the people in my office, most of the time I talk with them, say, we will equip ourselves to be able to do the things that we want to do, to be able to achieve the things that we want to achieve. And that's, for me, is leadership. People trust you that indeed you have care and concern for them. Just like Simon Sinek said, it's not a question of hello, how are you, and you are moving on. When you say hello, how are you, you're actually waiting to hear what the response is going to be like. You see someone that is not doing their jobs in a particular way, you are there to be able to hold their hands to tell them how to do it. My experience of leadership has been, even in secondary school, when we just got into secondary school, I did set out, maybe now we are doing leadership training, we are trying to tell people how to become leaders. Yes, I know leaders, you can still, leadership is a learnable skill, you can learn it, But if you show care and concern, you become a leader. While I was going into secondary school with some of my friends there, I will go call them in their houses and say, okay, let's go to school. We'll walk from, I think we were walking for like 10 kilometers then to get to school.
Wow.
Yeah, from Imali Falafia, we'll walk to Methodist High School on the express. Wow. And it was not because we couldn't afford to go by bus or public transport. It was the camaraderie that, okay, you will call this person, you will be moving. As you are moving on, you are calling people from their houses. Eventually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you become like 8, you become like 10 that will walk to school. And people now began to look forward to Kunle will come and we will start going. It is only when we started talking about this leadership thing and I started reflecting. From then, leadership, because I was concerned about their well-being, so almost naturally, they began to defer to me. We got into university. My friend, I think I've mentioned it to you before. We used to pull our resources together for food and all that. It was my roommate. And when we go out to do boys, we used to do, until he drinks to get drunk. That's the way we put it. He drinks to get drunk. So I stopped taking alcohol. And I started now taking him, so that there will be somebody that will care for taking him back to school. So naturally, a lot of people around me knows that, okay, he won't drink so that he can take care of us. So they'll begin to ask me, okay, today, what do we do today? So it was not because I wanted to be the leader. It was because I was showing care and concern for them. In the church, even leadership is not about wealth, it's not about position, it's not about rank, it's not about authority. In the church, gradually, come and be the head of the men's group. And I'm asking myself, why should I be the head of the men's group? It's because in so many ways, I would have shown concern about this person or that person, and they felt, okay, you could lead this team together. I've never been the pastor of any church. I've never been ordained in any church. But even the people that have the position, that have the rank, will say, how do we do this? What do we do about this? It's the same thing. That's why we have been able to grow the organization from like 5 people to now well over 700 people. And then other farms also, we also show care and concern about their well-being. For me, that is the essence of leadership. Leadership is showing care and concern. I hope I've been able to educate you, because that's what I've been told to come and do. I'm not supposed to come and talk about educating others. I have come so that I can educate you in what I think is leadership. What I know is not even what I think. As long as you show care and concern about the other people, naturally you become a leader. All of those other things stems from, and that's why we come back to where I started from. Why do you want to be a leader? If you can give an honest answer to that question, you are on the right path to becoming a leader. Thank you very much, gentlemen, ladies.
Thank you, sir. Okay, I will, so I'll just basically say to everybody in the house, please prepare your questions. It's important that you prepare your questions so that you can ask. But I have a few questions, so you have the question and answer button there. Like you said, it wants to be very interactive, so there's a good bit of asking and asking. So please prepare what you would like to ask about, leaders and their capacity to educate. I'm going to start, sir, and I'm going to start because I'm going to start from some of the things I know. beyond what you spoke about as well, in the aspect of leaders educating. So I want to ask, because I know that in your line of business, you are very informed, and the information that you have about your business sometimes it makes me ask myself if I'm even informed enough about what I'm doing, about my own business. So I remember, talking about one of the fears that we usually have with poultry business in our thinking is the mortality rate of the birds. And you tell me things like, no, you can manage that. Mortality rates, once upon a time it was, this percentage, we have monitored it and reduced it to this percentage, and we have monitored and reduced it to this percentage. And then I ask, how about fertilization of the eggs for, improving the day old chicks or stuff like that? And then you say, this is the percentage, and you are the numbers, something is going on. There's a lot of data to be on top of all of that. Because I think that's where educating starts from as well. You have to know before you want to educate. So are you saying that what drives that knowledge that now interprets into education, that the heartbeat of it is care and concern?
Yeah, it's the why. Exactly, it's the why. When you have, because you want to do your job as well as possible. That is the why. How? I've talked about the what. What you do and how you do it is the gathering of information, is the knowledge that we are talking about. At the heart of it is the why. While I was working with other people in other people's businesses, I used to say when I was still employed in paid employment, but I know better now. I'm still in paid employment. My employer is Bank Support Services. So there were days that from the workplace, I landed in the hospital because I am giving everything. I want, see, at the heart of it is because I care about the business, even though it wasn't my business, it was other people's business. But my business is to make sure that their business thrives, to make sure that their business succeeds. So I care about the business. So because of that, all that is required in terms of knowledge, in terms of competence, in terms of character, that's why I mentioned, we know the E's are what the leaders do. They are visible. Those are the visible things. And that's why most of the time we are looking at those things, and those are the things that we want to learn. Those are the things we want to know. It is the what. Those are the visible things. How they do it also, they are quite visible. But at the heart of the matter is really the why. Why do you want to be a leader? Why do you want to succeed? I've asked the same thing, the same question I asked when we were talking about success. Why do you want to succeed? So that you can buy cars? Forget it. So it's the same thing. Yes, I know a lot about the business, and it is because of the care and concern. I tell people that we work together that I need to be able to take decisions that will, because like I said, now we have close to 700, if not more, that we work together. And decisions that I take today will affect their fortunes. So, and I care about them. I care about their well-being. I know whatever amount we are paying them is solving a particular issue in their families, in their homes, in their community, in their environment. I care about the name of the company. I care about the image of the company. I care about, so it is about those care things that now informs the things that I know, the things that I do. It is the care and the concern. At the heart of it all is care and concern, really.
Okay. Awesome. So if you can get this clearly, if you are listening, we're approaching it from why leadership. So if your why is not driven from care and concern, then your motivation to learn and to educate may be missing. Somebody's asking, Razak Agbola is asking, what are the qualities of a good leader? Because some leaders are bad.
Yeah, it's just like success. There's good success. The Bible tells us about good success. That means there are successes that are not good, right? So it's the same thing. Sorry, there's an echo. The other connection there. In my house, yes. So the qualities of a good leader. Today we are talking about leadership, really, and I'm not drawing a distinction. Yeah, but there are good leaders and there are bad leaders. You see, the same object can be put to different use. It's just like our bodies. You can make use of our bodies in a good way or in the other way. Do you get? So, same qualities that you will find in the good leader is what you will find in the bad leader, so to say. It is the motivation. That's why I said it is from the heart of the matter. It is the heart. So it is not so much about, like I said, you'll see the what. Those are the obvious things, the what and the how. But the heart of the matter, the motivation for being a leader is what matters. Okay. I hope I've answered the question, really.
Yeah, I think
there are good leaders, there are bad leaders, but they carry almost the same. If you look at the Adolf Hitler, for example, there are people that are ready to die for Adolf Hitler. He started off on a good cause, taking care of people. So they developed confidence in him, they developed trust in him and all that. That he now turned it around is a different thing. But those are the qualities, the same qualities apply for both.
Okay, very good. Somebody's asking here. So if I can add a thought to that, I think if you're not doing all the things that leaders do, then you are not a good leader as well. So I think it's easy to discern who is good and not. Somebody said, I've heard over and over again that leaders are born. Based on your personal testimonies, how true is that? Are leaders born or are they made?
Both.
Okay. Okay, so leaders are both born and made.
Leadership is a learnable skill. It's a learnable skill. You can learn it.
Okay. So
some people have natural abilities, but you can learn it.
Okay. So there's nature and there's nurture. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent.
In any case, I believe that all of us are born leaders.
Okay.
This is how we now nurture it that makes the difference.
Makes the difference. Okay. Awesome.
And it is the motivation
that brings it out.
Yeah.
Okay. James Osua is asking, how do you as a caring leader discipline erring members of your staff?
Let me go to my notes for the training that I did with some of my staff like 2 weeks ago. And I was defining to them about leaders, the ease of leadership. And one of the ease of leadership is leaders execute, right? So leaders don't just sit by, they also perform, they carry out tasks. The corollary to that is that leaders execute, and we know what is execute. Leaders fire, leaders murder, leaders assassinate as a punishment for crime. So while leaders execute, that means getting the job done. Leaders also execute by murdering, firing, assassinating, killing. I'm using those harsh words for you to know that you can get to those levels in discipline for the crime, depending on the severity of the crime. But execution is permitted by law. Legal execution, right? So just keep. And then the state can sentence someone to death by hanging or by whatever means. So leaders also discipline. And they can discipline to even the extreme, as it were.
Okay. Very good. So so I think that's clear. A leader will do everything that it takes. So the fact that you care doesn't mean you're soft, or doesn't mean that you do not punish. If that's what the task requires, out of care, you deal with the person as well.
Okay. I've had to send people away from work and then ask them, okay, how do you cope with, how do you get another job, for example? What are the learnings? If you do exit interviews, what are the learnings from this? Why do you think this has happened to you? How can you make it better? And then we watch out for them as they go, even in their course of time.
Okay. Okay, great. Shola O is asking, How do you respond to a leader who is not ready to show empathy? Keep pushing you with little or no support, and then the project fails. The leader is ready to point at you as the cause of failure.
I think in the course of the series, we have had definitions, we have had qualities of the leader, the manager, the boss, and all of that. So we need to look at this question in that light. Is the person occupying a position of authority? The person is occupying a rank. Does that qualify the person to be a leader? So, because these are the qualities of the leaders. You measure, I think for I don't want to go political as it were, for a lot of position does not confer leadership. Wealth does not confer leadership. Authority does not confer leadership. The qualities of the leader, what confers leadership, are the E's, the C's, and it is born out of the Y. So maybe you can elaborate on the answer, but that for me is the answer really. We need to look at this question and ask ourselves, are you referring to your boss in the office?
I think it's
your
boss
manager in the office, the person that occupies the position of authority in the office, or you are referring to a leader?
I think person is talking about boss in the office.
Okay.
Yeah. Somebody's asking here, I pulled out of poultry farming because I found it, Michael Adeyemi, I find it difficult combining the poultry with my paid employment. Please, what is the best way to manage and work the two together?
I think I've shared this several times.
Yeah.
There is a difference between a business and an investment. Business, poultry farming is a business, and it requires investment of time. Nurture. You need to grow. Right now, I might not go to the farm for a month, 2 months, and things will still run. But that was not the way it started. There are days that we've gotten to the farm before 6 o'clock, before every employee comes there. We leave after all the employees have left. You need to set the way the business will run before you can leave it for others to run. And that is even, see, if you need, let's put it simply that way. You need time to set it up. You might not need as much time afterwards to be able to sit down on it, but to set it up, you need time. You need to be able to invest your time in it. Business requires time. So I don't know how you want to juggle the two, but if you can find the time for the business, you need to find the time for the business. I tell people, if the business is not enough to sustain you, why do you think the person you have employed will want to devote their own time and attention and everything to it? If he can't feed you, then you think they will be comfortable with that kind of a thing. They might not be. They won't be. I've seen instances of it happen several.
Okay. So do one. Oladapo Johnson is asking, please, sir, is everyone a leader or can everyone be a leader?
Everyone is not a leader, but everyone can be a leader.
Okay.
Finish.
Someone says, some leaders care, but their temperaments may portray them as being otherwise. Could this be true?
I lose my cool sometimes. I flip off the handle sometimes. The leaders are not infallible. Leaders are not cast in stone, or how do I put it? Leaders have emotions. Yeah. Sometimes they display their emotions, but most leaders, after the display of their emotions, will find a ground to call you back and still talk to you, because leaders will need to get things done. Leaders care about getting their people to get things done. I told somebody earlier today, I say, leaders are not responsible for getting the job done. They are only responsible for getting the people to get the job done. Leaders care about the people. The people do the job. Right? Sometimes, yes, as a leader, you do the job, but most of the time, because you want to get people to, that's why when they say this person is a good leader, but he has bad followers around him, I ask myself, are you sure? So yes, I also lose my cool. You can talk to some of my employees in the office, but they know that at the heart of it all, it is not, it can do all of that because of the care and concern for their persons and for the job. So leaders can lose their temperament. They can be temperamental, but at the end of the day, they will still find a means to carry people along, get people around.
Okay. So I also think maybe part of what he's trying to address is some people's normal, disposition. So some people are cholerics. So the way they will manifest care is different from the way somebody who is a sanguine will manifest care. At the end of the day, you will know why anybody, decides to do what they're doing. Ultimately, it's not about what they do once. It's about the consistency of what they're doing as well. Elijah Asuko is asking a question. Leaders care. Today, this is not exemplified. How do we younger ones follow this when we have not seen care from those leading us? It's been we serving, being used to achieve self-interest. Help me believe leaders care.
It's very easy. I told you of when I was in secondary school, a 11-year-old boy, 10-year-old boy. So leaders, the person that is asking the question is also a leader. Are you exhibiting these traits to the people that are behind you? Because see, there is a law of natural attraction. Yesterday we were still talking, we went out and some people were greeting us. And I said, because I greet people a lot, I found out that a lot of people greet me. Because I greet people a lot. So there is some more of, see, most of the time, it's easy to see, like it said in the Bible, you see the speck in other people's eyes when there is a big log in your own eyes. Leaders do care. Leaders do show concern. But what are you expecting? Do you want the subservience? You want leaders to be subservient. You don't want them to achieve the interests, as it were. They are being used to achieve their interests. That's what I see from here. Is that correct? Let's ask ourselves. See, before we begin to point fingers, let's look inwards at ourselves. Like I was saying, this whole series, we have been learning a lot of things. I wish I were in the same room with everyone to ask, what have you done about the things that you have learned? Because leadership is action. See, most of the time, I get promoted, I get recognized, not because I am asking for it, but because in a way, I am doing those little things that makes no sense, as Semasinek said, brushing my teeth, going to the dentist, doing this, doing that, and it is recognized. So let all of us strive. Before we begin to talk about our leaders, as it were, let us try and observe, because the whole of the nation starts from the family. For a lot of us, even in our family, even in our wives and our children, would they even consider us? Will we not be displaying the same attributes that this person is asking, even in our nuclear family? And that is where it all stems from. If you are this kind of a leader, like he pointed out here, in your home, it transcends to your workplace. It goes to the community, and that, and that, and that. So let each one of us forget about the people they call our leaders now and ask yourself, what am I doing in this regard? Because if you do yours, I do mine, the next person does his, you find out that the job gets done.
Awesome. Okay. So it starts from us. It doesn't begin with your leader. You don't look and say, what are they not doing? You look at yourself and say, am I beginning to implement it? You know, and the 11-year-old boy that you talked about yourself didn't need any leader to follow to know that I need to care about my other colleagues. It just starts from you. Yeah. Someone says, could it be that almost all our public leaders in our country lack this self-give out consciousness for the purpose of being voted for?
Well, we've talked about it. Leadership is not about rank or position. Leadership is not about authority. I think we need to understand that not everyone that is the governor or the head of state or this that is a leader.
Okay. Akin is asking, power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. How can a leader control himself so that he doesn't get power drunk?
If you are at the heart of it all, if you care about the people, if you show concern, if you have affection, you pay attention, you see, you are not likely to get drunk. Let me put it that way. It's like if you take only a sip of wine, you might not likely get drunk.
Okay. Someone says, what will you do to a subordinate that does not like to be corrected, but you want to impact positively into the person?
I'm trying to wrap my head around the question.
You have somebody who you are leading who doesn't like correction, and you want to help the person become better. You can force a horse to water. I don't think you can force a horse
to drink. Yeah, but most of the time, I know that people respond to the feelings. See, most of the time we are dealing with the people on the what and the how. There was, a case, even today, we had a meeting and I asked the guys there was an incident that was happening. And I asked them, why are these people doing this? So they don't know, but that's what they are doing. I say, okay, find out why are they doing this? And today I had cause to engage one of the people. And he says, it's because they don't know better. They don't have the motivation for doing it. They were doing it. So if we had pointed out the things that they were doing to them, they might not likely do it. So at the heart of it is the why. Let us at every point in time try to question. If I come late to the office, ask why. Yes, it's obvious I am late. So the natural thing is to punish, right? But if you say, okay, why? Maybe you might get to know why I am coming late. Yes, it might be over a period of time I am incorrigible. Yes, there are errant behaviors, but most people respond. Most people respond to the why. If you are able to get to the heart of it, why are they doing what they are doing? What drives them? What motivates them? Then you are able to strike at that point and make a difference in their lives.
Okay. Someone is asking here, Amaka Kinkugbe is saying, I think it's a similar question, so maybe we've answered it. How do you deal with the rebellious staff who keeps making same error even after correcting and penalizing such a couple of times?
See, the workplace is not friendly. People don't want to lose their jobs, really.
Yeah.
They might be behaving anyhow, but they don't want to lose their jobs. So most of the time, like I will say again, ask why this person that you are talking about, he does not want, at the heart of it, might not really want to lose his job. The rebellious action is a reaction to a why. Some of the time, you see a child that is throwing tantrums. A child will just be crying unnecessarily. You say this person is crying unnecessarily, but when the child is crying, you go and carry the child, and the child stops crying. So why were you crying in the first instance?
Must be carried.
It's because attention. And when the attention was given, the cry stops. Most of the rebellious acts, you see a lot of us too. We are rebellious against our rulers because of the why, because we look at them and say, these people should not be the ones that are ruling us. So because of that, we are also bringing up errant behaviors. We are doing things. So in a sense, they will say the problem in Nigeria is followership. People are not listening. They will do their things anyhow. A lot of the times we are reacting to the things that they are doing. or the things that we perceive they're doing, or the things that we think they are doing.
Okay. I think the final question tonight, so that we can be right on the dot of time, says, be close enough to inspire, but far enough to earn respect. Explain how a leader can combine this and care.
Who has the quote? Who has the quotes? Maybe
Who is the,
if
who is the originator of it?
is the originator of the quote. Yeah. Because you care does not mean that you will not have the respect.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you don't have respect. It's
Yeah.
just like, it's just like in a family setting, and every day you come, you want to prove in the house that you are the master of the house. You don't have to prove that you're a master of the house before you earn the respect of the people in the house. How do you earn the respect of the people in the house? Because you show care and concern for them.
Yeah.
You provide for the home. You do this. You care for them, and all of that. That is how you earn the respect. So you might be, that's why I asked who is the originator of the quote, because because you are close to people does not mean that you lose your, yes, they say familiarity breeds contempt, but it depends on how familiar familiarity is.
Okay. I think, yeah, so I don't know where we get these philosophies from, but I think it's the philosophy of people that have some personal esteem issues, or who are people that are insecure. Because I think it's insecurity that makes you feel that if you are distant, you'll be respected. If you are close, you will not be able to. It's better for you to inspire from a distance and not be too close to for them not to disrespect you. I think like you have said, if you care, you can't. People don't care what you know until they know how much you care. Care is very, very fundamental. If I think somebody cares about me and the person is really looking out for my best, even if I start up by misbehaving, after a while, I'll ask myself, what's wrong with me? They are trying to deliver the chicken from death. He's saying that they are not allowing him to go to the refuse dump to go and eat. So if I see that the care is what is really motivating them, then I can adjust myself appropriately as well. And I know that I don't have to be far from people to inspire them. I don't have to be far from people not to be disrespected. If I don't have any esteem issues, I think the question that this person is asking is similar to that as well. Some leaders only focus on the people, not because they care to transform their well-being and their capacity, but because of this statement that says, don't focus on the person's wahala. Just utilize the person's potential in the area that the person is useful for you. I think these are very, very wrong mindsets that we.
Yeah, those are the wrong philosophies that we need. That we need to. Yeah. That we need to touch.
Yeah. So.
I mean,
yeah.
I run with the business that we manage, that we run. We've had to let people go. And some of the people, one of the persons that we let go sent me a message that he's learned so much, that he have made so much impact in his life, that even though, yes, we've asked him to go, but he still wants to be a part of the company. And that is a person that we had to go. We had to let him go. But until today, the person will still call or come around and come and sit down for counsel and for somebody that we had to let go. They want somebody we had to fire. So, and like, I don't have the keys to my office. I don't have a personal plate. People can be eating and I pass their table and pick something from them. See, if you are not the leader, so to say, that shows care and concern, I wonder how you'll be able to even operate, as it were. It's going to be difficult for you to really operate. There is at points in time, we can get power, we can get authority, we can get positions, but it is these leadership qualities that sustains us in those positions that we are given.
Word. Thank you very, very much. I think we've come to the end of the questions and also this presentation. Thank you very much for those thoughts. I hope you are listening and learning. I think this quote summarizes it well, and this brings it home for me when you say that nobody cares what you know until they know how much you care. So if you're going to educate me, it's going to better be coming from a heart of care and concern. Otherwise, I don't care what you know. And I realize that once you have those metrics in the correct place, you are motivated to also learn. One of the things I found out in school, I found out that the courses I do the best in are the courses I know I have responsibility to teach others. So out of care for them, I get to read my book. And then because I'm teaching them, I get to learn it very well as well and score an A. So if that motivation is not there, then they probably won't learn. And researchers have shown that when you learn with the mindset that you're going to teach others, you retain 90% more than when you learn just for yourself. So somehow there's a dimension of your brain that opens up when you know that you are responsible for others. And I think it comes from the heart of care. So thank you very much, Mr. Ogunwomoju, today for enlightening us about leaders educate. I don't know if you have a parting shot for us today, just a statement to make and close as we end today's meeting. I think people are blessed. They're saying thank you very much. God bless you.
As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen,
being able to share with you guys. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you,
All
sir.
right.
Okay, thank you, everyone. I think we're going to wind down